Hey, this is Coach Marty,
And this is Lori.
and it's time for That Sports Couple.
What?
Brought to you by
Diamond Distributing.
Colonial Exterminating Company,
Edward Jones, C. Robert Email.
Wendy Benedetto, Ladder and Blue,
Sports Pub, Dusterhead.
Adam Roussel, Riverbend, Chiropractic, Tri-Parish Trophies,
The Seafood Pod.
Ho, 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 ho!
Welcome to That Sports Couple, episode 15. I'm Lori Lyons, the sports writer. This is Coach Marty Luquette, the coach and the Uber driver. And this is That Sports Couple. We're just a couple of yahoos who like to talk about sports and kind of know what we're talking about. And this is really our conversation. This is our big conversation of the week. We get together and talk about sports. But we spent a lot of time together this weekend because we watched all of the games in the Superdome together on the big screen TV. We did not go to the dome. And it was kind of nice. We watched them all.
Well, we kind of limp around a little too much to be heading to the dome and make those long walks.
And I still can't see well enough. It wouldn't do me any good.
But it was awesome to have them on TV and be able to follow all the games and, have that big toddy,
I did not have a toddy.
that you couldn't have at the Superdome. So can't complain about that. We had some good games, lots of games, a lot
crazy.
of things that stood out.
Lots of surprises, things I didn't see coming.
I do a Saturday morning show with Johnny Marchese and JM Sports, and we talked about a little bit. We hadn't had the 5A games yet, the Class 1 games yet. So we were just talking about the previous 6, which were fabulous by any standards. They're all close and all. And we were talking about defense, and one of the guys, Mike Garcia's on the show, said, it was good to see defense show up in that game that went 35-32.
35 points is defense.
Yeah, 30. The whole guy's 35 points, and you're playing some defense. And I shook my head, and I even mentioned it to Johnny, who's an old timer like myself. I said, "Do you remember when the championship games used to be, 7-7 and it decided on first downs or 7-0 or 6-3 and." And he did, and he talked about a West Jefferson championship because he's a West Jeff guy, that they won 7-0, and that was defense. Now everything, with the spread, you hold a guy to 30 points, you think you played some defense.
But fans like a lot of offense and a lot of scoring. It's boring when there's
Well, if you like that, this was your weekend. Because there was plenty of that.
Plenty of scoring, plenty of touchdowns. But I saw somebody say North Louisiana was outscored like 195-8 or something
that
like
was
that.
That was on the last day.
No,
the last day.
North Louisiana
District
was
2-5.
not District 2-5A. That's right. Yes, that's what it was.
Got to be 90-6 or something,
Yeah.
90-7. So in those last 2 championship games, not the kind of way they wanted to finish their season, but the fact of the matter is they had 2 teams in there.
Oh, absolutely, yes, indeed. And we had one River Parish's team, St. James, and we were rooting for them. They came up just a little short, but there was a pretty good game. The player of the game was defensive back. Nolan Zenon. Linebacker, sorry, who had 23 tackles and a forced fumble. He was the MVP.
That's only 2 off the record.
Is it
Superdome?
Really? Yes. I did not know that.
25 was the record.
See, they hand me all that stuff when I'm in the Superdome.
I saw it.
You read somebody's story, huh? They hand you all these statistics, and they tell you in your ear, there's one run away from the record, and 6 yards away. That is a new Superdome record. And you're like, yeah, that's how we get all that information. The voice of my dear friend, Doug Morrow, who is in the press box. He's the press box announcer, not the guy you hear, although I believe he was the voice of the Dome this weekend as well. And you hear him and he'll say, that is a new Superdome Classic record. And yeah, we're all like, thank you.
Thank you, Crescent City Sports.
Yeah. And Go Preps had stories on all the games. And of course, our friends at the Shreveport Advocate, the Baton Rouge Advocate, the New Orleans Advocate, Times-Picayune/NOLA.com, whatever they're called these days. There's lots of stories if you want to read them with all the stats and everything like that. And there was some wild stuff.
Well, the best thing about this game was the first half was bang, 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 bang. 21, 21. Nobody was stopping anybody. And at halftime, I told Lori I felt sorry for our old friend, Mark Sims.
Oh, yeah.
The former baseball coach at Hahnville, the baseball coach at Sterlington, and the defensive coordinator. But in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, they found a way to shut St. James down, and that ended up being the difference in the game.
Yeah.
But what a fabulous game with an interception to finish off. We always say the team with the ball last wins. St. James had an opportunity, and if they score, then they have the chance to go for two and win it. And
a little more time, maybe they could.
Yeah, they were kind of rushing a little bit, and an interception ended the game.
Yes.
So
I want to say this too, and I covered sports for a very long time, and nobody wants to lose, and nobody wants to finish second. And there was even stories that we've told back and forth amongst us in sports writing that there was a basketball team that left their state runner-up trophy in the locker room, like left it, didn't want it, left it. There was a baseball team that left their state runner-up trophy on the mound at a baseball game. And I saw some teams go up there to get that second place trophy like it was a pile of garbage, and shame on them. I mean, you got there. This was Central's first trip to the state championship, almost in my entire lifetime.
Yeah, Superdome.
Yeah, first time in the Superdome. And I noticed that the Edie White team, they went and got their trophy and held it up over their heads, and they were like, yeah, look what we did. Second place is nothing to be ashamed of. I know y'all don't like it, but I know you got a couple of them. And they felt the same way, but
no.
Later you realize it.
It's a tough picture.
It is a tough picture.
It's a tough picture because, especially, if you lose late, like if you get blown out, you got plenty of time to get over it. But if you lose late, and in baseball games, you always, we were always in them, so we felt like we had a chance to win them. And then you have to call. They're crying. They cry at the end, last game of the season if they lose, in the first round. So getting to the championship game and being all jacked up, thinking they're going to win a state championship, and then losing, it's hard to get them back together to go take it. Come take this picture. Do we have to? Yes, you have to. Come get it. And it's hard to get excited because you thought you're going to get that gold one, and here instead you're holding this bronze one or a silver one. But you're disappointed. But that very next week, when it's on the desk in the office, and you see the runner up, and you realize what you actually accomplished, is much easier.
I was just proud of the Edie White kids. They went up there with smiles. I know there was some tears because it was their last game and they came close. And even the MVP, like he was the first kid I saw who posed for the MVP trophy and smiled. The rest of them were like, "I'm gonna win this stupid trophy," and I just feel like
it's tough.
I understand it's a tough one, but you were the MVP from your team and
in the Superdome.
And
you had a good game.
And obviously. 30 years from now, you're gonna look at that and your wife's gonna dust it off for you. Your wife's gonna dust it off for you, and you're gonna be proud and say, "Yeah, I did that. I accomplished that."
Absolutely. But there's nothing like.
It's my opinion.
There's nothing like holding up that big one.
I know.
When you win.
I know.
Now, I wouldn't know what that is, but at least at the high school.
That's not true. You won.
Well,
you won at American Legion baseball.
Not a Louisiana High School Athletic Association.
2 state championships.
But my point being, I did sit there when the girls at Riverside, as the athletic director, when they won the state championship, and they held up the trophy, and I felt just as proud for them. And then they bought me a little ring.
Sports, you got that too. So
Yeah, I got it.
Sports writers don't get to win state championships. I mean, I got Prep Writer of the Year twice, and I won a couple of first places and lots of second, thirds, and honorable mentions. But we don't get to win a state championship. So maybe my opinion is irrelevant. But I just felt like when I saw the Edie White kid, Barbara, I think his name was, who went in to get his MVP, and he was the first one to like, yay, look at me. And I was like, yeah, be proud.
You know, and it depends on the kid. You know, I look forward to if Riverside ever gets one and gets that. If it's Colton Diamond, he's gonna smile his ass off. Colton Diamond will smile. He'll be happy. He don't care.
That's like whoever told football players not to smile in your preseason pictures. You know, like you're supposed to look mean, and they all come up and sports writers were like, okay, I need to take a picture, and they're like, wait, I can't smile. Wait, I can't smile. I want you to know they're all laughing and smiling until you snap the picture. And then there was Jai Eugene Sr. Who walked up to the camera and went.
he got the nice smile.
He had pretty white teeth.
He has a nice smile.
So let's go over our state champions. I have them listed right here. So these are the winners of the weekend. Can you read it?
Yeah.
I can't.
Non-select from the top classification. Central 42, Ruston 0.
Did not see that coming at all, especially after Ruston dismantled Destrehan the week before. I did not see that coming. And Central, like, boom, 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 right down the field. And Marty and I were like, what is happening?
And talking to the Baton Rouge guys, they all talked about how good Central was. And, okay, yeah, they're good. They got beat by Catholic. They're good. Okay, they're a good team. But they're going to get killed by Ruston. And, man, were we wrong. We were wrong.
Holy cow.
And they just took them apart, kept it on them, and Ruston just never could find anything that worked.
Nope. They just looked like they were just really discombobulated. That's the word a lot of y'all like to use. They just couldn't get their act together. Now, I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but we heard that they came down that morning. They got up real early and drove down for the game. Whereas a lot of teams, I know Alexandria spent the night before. I don't know if that makes a difference or not.
Well, they did the same thing the year before and won.
So you never know.
I mean, when you lose, it's an excuse. When you win, nobody cares that you came down that morning. And
you would think they've been in the dome so many times. You'd think that nothing would matter. That was crazy.
I was always big on sleep in your own bed, eat mama's cooking in the morning,
kiss your girlfriend goodbye,
do the normal stuff. The bus ride, the 5-hour bus ride is no different than school.
They sleep. Exactly.
Than being in school. So it shouldn't have been an issue. I mean, if you're looking for excuses,
I don't know. I thought that was unusual because I thought teams like to come and make
when they played those 9:00 in the morning games, they used to come.
I can't even imagine like getting up and getting fired up for 9 a.m.
But we were talking about when you're talking about a football team, you're talking about some big kids.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So and if you're a 5A school like them, you're bringing 100. Are you going to book 50 rooms in New Orleans? Yeah, that's a pretty
when you're playing event prices.
Yeah,
and park the bus.
Yeah, that's a pretty penny right there.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
And they don't give you that much. You make more money on your semifinal games at home. Even the two teams splitting it make more money than the Superdome gives you.
Especially because they charge the cheerleaders to get in, which I won't even go there.
Well,
but I went.
I mean, we talked about the 1 year that St. Charles and played at Tulane when the select pulled away from the high school association and booked their own venue, and they walked away with $45,000 a piece, and the guys in the dome got 12.5.
Yeah, nobody makes money on the
dome. The high school association makes money.
Yeah.
But they also pay for the dome, and they have
electricity
expenses
and the air conditioning, which is on full the whole time.
They have expenses too, but it still was the idea that there were other venues that this could be played at. But then again, the flip side is you talk about the dome from the day you start practicing. We're going to play in the dome. Our goal is the dome. You don't ever says our goal is to play at Northwestern in Natchitoches.
But we had this conversation last week. I think if you were playing at LSU or Tulane, people would get excited. You know, I think.
Tulane the reason Tulane worked so well was it's a smaller arena.
You can hear the crowds,
and there are 30,000 there to fill it. So you're playing in front of a full house, right. and they're going to be all right on top of you, and that's what would make Tulane a good viable option, unless the weather turns south.
Right.
You know, LSU is LSU. I mean, everybody wants to play at LSU. We used to play the baseball championships at Alex Box. You know, in all through the late 70s, early 80s, we played at Alex Box. That changed when Skip got there. Not that Skip didn't want us there. That wasn't the case at all. LSU started winning championships and hosting the SEC. Instead of being at Hoover, it used to be at the Champions Place. Well, LSU was winning all those championships, so they were hosting the SEC championship, and there was no room for us. So that's when the high school association left and started going. We left there. We went to New Iberia, and then we ended up at Denham Springs, and eventually at Zephyr Park, which was fabulous for 5A. Zephyr. And I'm talking about 5A here because the other ones were spread out all over the state.
Yeah, Zephyr was fun.
And then finally, when they ended up at Sulphur, they were able to bring all the classifications together. And that's why they've been at Sulphur.
Yeah, they like doing everything in one spot, the LHSA.
They only have to go administer one spot.
Exactly.
And even
softball, baseball.
And in baseball and softball, you'll be there for 2 weeks, but at least it's in one spot.
Yeah.
You know.
I get it.
Look, I don't run that. I'd like to hear the inside scoop and have a conversation. You know, be loved. You know, in your somebody have a podcast and get Eddie to sit and talk about it and why they do the things they do, because they take a beating for a lot of their decisions. And I'm sure there's great reason for why they do what they do, you know, and then I'm sure there's debate in some of the others, but you know, decisions they make, but you know.
All right, that was a tangent. That was
that's awesome. We're glad to be here. Hey, this is the last one of football season.
It is.
So we're gonna if we go a little long.
This is the season finale.
If we talk a little long or we go, you know, hey, that's the way it is, you know. We're hoping it's not the season finale like Yellowstone.
Who's going to get pushed off the cliff?
No, I mean where it ends. You know, because we don't know if we'll be doing these again.
Don't know.
You know, so we're going to talk to
might not still be married.
We're going to talk to our sponsors and see if any of them are interested. And
or we have new ones.
Yeah,
we'll go there in a minute. Finish.
Okay, sorry. The next game was Cecilia 35, Franklinton 32.
Dwayne Jenkins called it.
Cecilia was a 16th seed.
He said they were going to win. Well, not
18th.
He didn't come out and say, "Oh, Cecilia's going to win," but he basically said Cecilia's going to win. Go back and listen.
When he was on our show, and he said Cecilia's got a great coach, great tradition, and they're better than their record. And they ended up, I don't even know what seed they were, 17, 18.
Something like that. I don't know.
Whatever. Whoever plays 15.
I don't know. That's math. That's math.
18th seed. They were the 18th seed, and they beat 15, and they played Dwayne.
Yes.
And Letcher.
Yes.
And knocked them off in a great game, and then went on to.
That was kind of our first clue.
Yes. Yeah. But Cecilia was fabulous.
They were,
and could do so many things. But dang, I was pulling for Salt.
Yes,
I was pulling for Salt.
Salt.
Love Salt. I think he's a good man. You know, Salt's that guy that everybody either loves or hates. You know,
and he's the first coach to bring 3 different teams to the championship
until Central showed up.
Oh,
he did the same. So
Central.
Yeah. The coach from Central.
Oh, the coach from Central. I was like, okay.
Yeah, the coach from Central, okay. Semino.
That's it. Something like that.
Yeah,
CNN.
He
something. Oh,
He brought New Iberia, Catholic High,
Yes.
and Central
Yes.
to the Dawn. So this week they both broke the record.
There you go.
You know.
It's impressive.
Yes, but tough one. And then St. James, Sterlington, we talked about 35, 28.
Look, with a freshman quarterback that threw for 179 yards and a touchdown, he is not a freshman player anymore.
Say his name.
Juwan Jackson. Kenai King Young, the receiver, who had 123 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Also a freshman.
And Villanueva Chakias, I think is his first name. He's a sophomore. They'll be back. No doubt. And Levante Davis, they'll be back. No doubt in my mind at all.
Well, I think we're just getting started in St. James.
Absolutely, I think so.
You know, and things are only going to get better and better, and they're fun to watch.
Yep, they are.
You know, and I like that they came out in the traditional dark jerseys with
the wing tee helmet, the Michigan helmet.
Yeah, with the Michigan helmets that Gailey loved, and actually Delaware helmets.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll go from there, but it was fun to watch, and they were awesome. You know, and then the last game he's not on here, but South Plaque.
Oh, South Plaque, I forgot that. The Tornado versus the Hurricane.
Yep, the Tornado and the Hurricanes, and South Plaque just played lights out.
Yes.
You know, and they were awesome. They were awesome. They had some great athletes. And the whole weekend, that was one thing that stood out most to me.
Yeah.
Was how many truly great athletes. And football players. I kept saying that guy could play for, obviously I'm thinking Tulane. That guy could play for Tulane. Then the next game, that guy might be better than the other guy played for. And then, you just go, wow, all these guys are so good.
And then you got some kids that haven't signed yet or have gotten really random offers, which kind of freaked me out. Okay, that's where we're going next, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to select. And of course, the team of the year is Carr.
Oh my God!
Carr came out, took an undefeated Alexandria apart.
Oh my! Alexander was like, "What? Where are we? What are we doing?" Oh my God! It was
21-0 for 5 minutes.
I felt bad for the poor Alexander kids because they're like, "We're going to the dome. We're going to win." To be crushed that quickly.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
And the thing that stood out to me was Bryce Brown, the coach at Carr, said, "We talked all week about running clock. We're going to have a running clock."
That was their goal.
That was their goal, was to have a running clock in the football game, in the championship game.
We had 2 running clocks in the football in the championship.
They wanted to be the most dominant, show everyone they're the most dominant team, and bring back to where, because Carr had been in 9 of 11 state championships and won 6 of them. So, and they were at lower classification. They moved up to the highest classification and hadn't got to the dome till this year. And they wanted to reestablish their dominance.
Well, they did that. 63?
53.
53 to 6.
I don't know how they got 6.
That was bad.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Shaw.
Congratulations.
And Edie White.
Hank Tierney. See, old guys, that you're not too old to be a coach.
You surround yourself with good young guys.
How old is he? 70?
Yeah, he's older than I am.
He was coaching at Shaw when I started 30 years ago. What does that say? And then he went to Ponchatoula, and then now he's back at Shaw. And if you have not read Mike Strom's, we call it a Strom essay or a Strom epic. It's long. Sit down, get yourself a cup of hot chocolate and a couple of Christmas cookies, and read that story on Go Preps by Mike Strom about how Shaw went after Hank Tierney and not only convinced him, but first convinced his wife, Mrs. Tierney, that y'all need to come back.
But let's be honest. He's getting ready to retire from Ponchatoula. He's living in Ponchatoula. Got a nice place, beautiful home, lots of property. The guy's done his part. And here comes Shaw. We want you to come back. He said, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
The way you treated me."
Yeah. Well, it's not them, but it's
Yes,
still Shaw.
I know, still Shaw.
But those guys
There
are
were
gone.
some hurt feelings there.
Oh, absolutely. And then and then he said, he said, "Nah, I'm good." Well, they went around the back door and said,
"If we can get the wife, we can
Mrs.
get
Tierney, can we talk to you?"
Let me tell you something, and I'm going to say this because as the wife, it's usually, I'm surprised because it's the wife who holds the grudge. He's the one who's like, "Oh, let bygones be bygones. That's water under the bridge." It's the wife who's like, "Uh-uh." And in this case, I don't know how they did it. She's a better Christian than I am. She listened and did not judge. We listen and we don't judge. and I love the part of the story Mike wrote that he said what they were in the office with the head of the school or the athletic or whoever it was, and Hank looked at him and looked at her and looked at him and looked at her and said, "Y'all been talking." Yeah.
Well, it's been 3 years he's been
Mrs. Tierney, props to you because I would have.
But let's look. He went back. Okay, what did he do when he got back? He went and got his old Shaw guys back.
Yeah, I know. Lou Valden's there now.
Mike Biamani,
Yeah.
Lou Valden. He went and got his old guys back.
The band's back together.
Valden's been retired for 5 years. Louis, come on, just hang out with us, man. We're going to coach some football. No problem, Hank.
And he's loving it. He's teaching. Oh, yeah.
Hank, I'm in. You know, and
see,
sure enough,
it's not all about the young kids. Sometimes experience is very more valuable.
But once again, Hank, awesome, baby. You know, you're doing a fabulous job. We're happy for you.
Congratulations, Hank. I'm very happy for you.
Catholic of New Iberia against Dunham, 31-28.
That one was a shocker too.
Well, Dunham has the #1 ranked player in the country as the quarterback. Now, if this is factual, we're going to get into some NIL in a little bit because this came up. But I was talking with a guy in my Uber who knows he's a coach at Nichols, not a football coach, but
Nichols
a coach at
University,
Nichols State. Yeah.
Okay,
and he told me today that 4 guys from Texas A&M have put up $15 million each earmarked for this kid. For
that kid.
For his kid.
There were better players on the field that I saw.
I'm telling you what they are not going to miss this kid. They have $15 million a year ready for him. Wow. What? Came up 3 points short in his, but they have.
So maybe he'll only get $12 million.
But Dunham has a great team. Dunham has a great team, but Catholic of New Iberia played the game of their lives.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, indeed.
And they were awesome, and they won, and it was quite impressive. The last game that we'll talk about is the 4A Select. Vermilion Catholic 33, Ouachita Christian 21.
Go back a second. Was that which one was the Diesel kid? Is that that was the Diesel kid?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diesel. I asked one of my friends who was there, Chris Singleton, Homer Courier, who's faster, Dartez or Diesel? And he said it would be hard to say. Because they were both, I want to see them both on a 40. Like, come on. That Dartez, Jonathan Dartez, come on.
That's Vermilion Catholic.
47 carries?
Yes.
47 carries. New Superdome record. 47.
240 yards.
47 carries. You know who that reminds me? You know who used to run like that? Well, St. James had one, but I can't remember who it was. But Mandel Eugene Sr., Mandel Eugene Jr. Is that Tulane, just entered the portal. Mm-hmm. But his dad at East St. John would run like 30, 40 times a game like that. St. James had one too. I don't remember.
But they just couldn't stop Dartez.
No.
And it's just bang. Okay, he gets 2, he gets 3, then he gets 15.
Oh, I know.
You stop him twice. You say, okay, and it's just snap, look around, hey, there's a hole, let me go. You
And
know,
he's fast. Like once he got out
Mhm.
in front of you, there was no catching him. And Diesel too. Diesel scored on the first play of the game,
Mhm.
that other game.
Mhm.
What was his Diesel? Some Solan. What was his last name? I can't remember his last name. I'm sorry. I'm old. Oh, Solari or something like that. He was very impressive. Like, holy cow! There was some very impressive players and games and
Mhm.
moments in the dome. I noticed one of the coaches got soaked with Gatorade. That used to be a $500 fine.
It is. He don't
Yeah.
care.
Well, somebody's going to pay it. But hey, you know what? We don't want you pouring Gatorade on the Superdome carpet because then they have to steam clean it. You remember the kid that threw up that one year? One year, I don't know, he fielded a punt and was running, and the opposing player like just helmeted him right in the gut, and he threw up whatever his pregame chicken meal was. And for the whole weekend, there was a stain on the fleur de lis, and we all knew exactly what it was. And then the Saints played, and we were like, "Is the stain still?" See, these are the memories you carry with you from that. And we noticed that NFH, the TV crew, with Robert Valdez, your former player, and Dwayne Jenkins, and a couple other guys that I don't know personally, but they did a great job of talking about the games before, during, and after. Um, I noticed that they were all wearing jackets by the end of Saturday afternoon because they turned that air conditioner on, and it gets cold in there. I promise you, freezing. We're up in the rafters, and our papers are flying all over the place. And I want to say one more shout out, Wade Kaiser. Oh my goodness! Look, I knew him as the football coach at St. Charles Catholic, and he was a good coach. He was. He was a nice guy. He and I had some dust ups, but he was a nice guy. But the dude has found his calling. He did a great job. He did all of those games, one after the other, boom, boom, boom. I don't know if he was drinking whiskey, probably not, in between, or what, to save his voice. And very knowledgeable. And shout out to you, Wade. You know what you're talking about, and you do it very well. So,
And if you've ever done a game,
Marty gets nervous.
you realize how hard it would be to do 8.
Yeah, but he's been. Oh, I know, huh?
No, eight back to back to back. That's like you still have research to do. You have things they're not feeding you everything.
No.
Okay, you got research to do. You got to be knowledgeable. You got to now a lot of it is he's watching the game and tell you the formation, what's going on, how they're doing. But he was fabulous.
He
Wade,
was. Shout out. Good job.
Yeah.
It was fun to listen, fun to watch. You guys did a great job.
But he's been
he's been doing it for a while, and
but
got it down.
He's good because they're using him to do nickel state games.
Oh yeah,
he's doing college games. He's doing that's awesome, Wade. I mean, I'm envious of you being able to do that kind of stuff.
Marty wants to do baseball. If anybody wants to hire my husband to get out of the house in the springtime, who love to commentate baseball,
I'm ready to take Svoboda's spot at 2 man.
There you go.
or UNO's only doing a 1-man job, so I'll take that one too.
All right. That's it for football. We will take a break. Please visit our sponsors because they're our sponsors, and they backed us in this little experiment of ours and said, yeah, sure, we'll give you a couple of dollars. And we love them, and we thank you. Please go visit our sponsors. And when we come back, we will talk about some other stuff. Brought to you by Diamond Distributing. They're the guys who deliver the Hubig's pies.
Lemon!
No apple. If you don't see your favorite pie and freeze-dried goodies at your store, have them call Diamond Distributing.
Brought to you by Colonial Exterminating Company, a local family-owned company that will help you get rid of your termites, pests, and rodents. They're a Christ-based company looking forward to serving you.
Brought to you by Robert Hemel at Edward Jones Investing on Belterre Boulevard in Laplace. Trust Robert with all your investment needs.
Brought to you by Riverbend Chiropractic. Come see Dr. Adam Roussel for pain relief. His decompression table will change your life. Call Riverbend Chiropractic
Industrial.
Welcome back. We're going to talk other stuff now. Since Lori called it that. But we're going to kind of knock some ideas around and things that are going on. And, one of them was we mentioned a little bit before the break about A&M having this war chest waiting for one player.
NIL money. And NIL is ruining college football.
And I don't think anyone will argue that when players got nothing, that we didn't say they should get something.
Correct.
They all should have got something.
Yes.
But now it's going crazy. They're out of control. Now it's like, please, someone find a cap for this thing.
Really?
A great example is Darian Mensah, who's leaving Tulane before the bowl game to go, and it looks like he's going to be at Duke, and Duke has offered him
committed.
And Duke has offered him $4 million.
But nobody's really mad that he entered the portal or that he is going somewhere else. Everybody's just kind of mad at the way he did it.
Well, it's hard to turn your back on $4 million. Someone offered you $4 million to change your job right now. You would tell your boss, "See ya."
Yeah, but wouldn't you go and tell your boss,
You go
see ya?
him.
You wouldn't just leave and not show up,
right?
Which is apparently what some player did.
But let's not.
That's not
the point. The point is that that this money is being thrown around for these guys, and a kid like him, is he big enough? Come on, the NFL quarterbacks are 6'3", 225 pounds, 230 pounds. Josh Allen is 6'5". Mensah's not that. He's not going to be.
Drew Brees wasn't that huge.
Well, but they're not. He's not. He don't have that arm either. He's not going to be an NFL quarterback. So if he gets $4 million, he's going to have his life set. How do you say?
Not if he spends it on a $50,000 watch like somebody did at the Heisman Award ceremony yesterday. I mean, there's still 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids who are still going to do stupid stuff, and you're going to give them $4 million.
Well,
and
the key is this.
I don't think they're going to invest it wisely.
I was fortunate to have a first-round pick in Bo Jones, and he got his $1 million. But with his agent, he also got an investment guy. They came together. Because they did not want him to make 18-year-old decisions, and they limited what he could have and worked with him so that he would have it for the rest of his life, some of it for the rest of his life, which he does. And, it was very smart. These agents need to bring those guys in.
Well, and some of them don't hire good agents either. We won't go there either. But on the other side of NIL, too, is the whole Marshall Independence Bowl situation where Marshall had so many players leave and enter the portal and leave the school, and they let their head coach leave. And then so many coaches have followed the head coach out without the portal that they don't have anybody left to play a bowl game. And so they had to withdraw. I don't think I've ever heard of this before. They had to withdraw from the bowl game, and then Louisiana Tech is like, yeah, okay, we'll go. There you go.
Up the street.
Up the street, yeah.
But the flip side of that is the conference ought to come down on them, because the conference is going to lose the TV revenue.
Absolutely.
Now I don't know if Tech and Marshall are in the same conference. Maybe they stayed within the conference and gave it to Tech. I don't know, but something's there got to be some kind of penalty. I would think. You
would think. I don't
know. Or not give them their.
It is such a catch-22 because, like I've said this before, I think that players absolutely should get a share of whatever the universities are making off of their face and their name. I mean, Joe Burrow didn't make a penny off of all the T-shirts they sold at LSU with the Burrow EAUX. He didn't get any of that. And should he have? Of course. But also on the other hand, a high school kid about to get $15 million is just absurd. and then there's, we talked also about the players that leave this one for the money, and then then you entered the portal, but you also went into the black hole, and nobody's ever going to see you again.
Well, you look at a guy like Arch Manning. He got $4 million in NIL money. Okay, he didn't need any money.
You don't know. You don't know what Archie's
Yeah,
finances.
Yeah. Okay.
It might be poor. It might be broke. Yeah, you just never know.
But you're not going to say no to it.
Oh, absolutely. I wish somebody come offer me some NIL money and see
we
what
will
happens.
let you be the title sponsor to this podcast.
We'd love it.
And you don't have to come up with $4 million. I promise.
Nope.
You. Nope. It won't take a lot.
We're cheap and easy. There you go. All right. NIL money. Okay. We're going to take one more break and you visit the rest of our sponsors who loved us and supported us. Please visit them. And then come back and we'll have some final words from the season finale of That Sports Couple with Lori and Marty.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish. Singing's not my forte.
Okay, Santa.
Brought to you by Wendy Benedetto at Ladder and Bloom. If you are buying or selling your home, call the best in the business. Let Wendy Benedetto get you home.
Brought to you by the Seafood Pot in New Sarpy, the best seafood in the river parishes. Crabs, shrimp, seafood platters, po' boys, and those daiquiris. Doesn't get any better than the Seafood Pot. Brought to you by Tri-Parish Trophies in Reserve. When it's time to acknowledge someone's accomplishments, let Tri-Parish Trophies help. They're also your sign and printing professionals. Let them help you. They're a family-owned company. Brought to you by the Sports Pub in Destrehan. For fabulous food and big screen TVs, come to the Sports Pub for all the action. It's a must after your big game. Welcome back to That Sports Couple, the season finale of 2024.
The singing coach and the fruitcake.
One of my favorite shirts. I like fruitcake, but see, I'm a little nutty and nobody likes me. So yeah, this is going to be our season finale, and it may be the series finale. We haven't decided yet. I think Marty should do something in the spring with baseball. Because he is Mr. Baseball. And so I don't know what we're going to do. If we have a sponsor or two or more, if you'd like to be one, please call and we'll entertain all offers. But thank you this was an experiment. And we said, okay, we're retired. We both like sports. What can we do? And we ended up, I always said he should do a podcast. And he said no. And I said, well, let's do one together. And we did it. And a couple of you listened, and a couple of you came back and listened to more than one. We did not go viral. We did not get lots of sponsors, but we did get a couple of devoted friends who thought it was a good idea.
They love us.
They love us. I want to thank Chris Brown Sports Art in Texas, who did our fantastic tune cover. Our podcast cover art. Love him. And did it just as a favor to me. He's the guy who does all the portraits for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. So I owe him a debt.
He did the Riverside Girls State Championship.
He did a portrait of them. And he did my portrait when I was inducted in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And now I have these great big pictures of me that you can't just throw them away. What are you supposed to do with that? And now I understand. Now they all get small ones to take home. Marty was like chasing them down the streets. I want that. And we brought them home. So thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Chris Brown. Thank you to our 12 and a half listeners. This is a special week for us. Today's December 15th. Tomorrow is December 16th. And tomorrow, did you know this? Did you know? Look at his face.
I know.
Look at his face.
I know.
Look at his face. So December 16th, 1993 is the day he did not get down on one knee. He put me up on a carousel horse and asked me to marry him and gave me a ring that was way too big, but that's okay.
And who said I wasn't clever?
Yeah, that means even back then. But he did ask me to marry him, which was a good thing because the next day, December 17th, 1993, we had a party at our house to count down the 1 year to our wedding. And I told him I was going to cancel the party because he hadn't officially asked me yet. So there you go. But he did. And then we got married. It'll be 30 years. 30 years on Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday, December 17th, 1994 at Laura Plantation on a cold, rainy day that I didn't feel one bit in front of our family and friends at Laura
Was
Plantation.
the day I secured my place in heaven. For putting up with you for 30 years.
Right back at you, buddy. I became the trophy wife. I polished all his trophies.
Well, now that I'm the Uber driver, the Uber coach driver, I have met so many people. But today, I ran into the soccer coach in Nickel State.
Really?
Yep. And he took a ride to the Superdome with me to see the Saints play. And he didn't know who I was. And we just started having a conversation. And you forget how small the world is. He's best friends with Coach Don Rodriguez.
Of course. Who isn't?
Who is? But they go to breakfast I think he might be retired now, but they go to breakfast and they were buddies, and it was just funny. He knew two-tone, and it just how it all fell together. Later in the day, I'm in Mandeville of all places, and I pick up a rider who played at Grambling, and we talk baseball for an hour, talking about coaching and kids, and because he had done a little bit of that. He's 30 years old now, and he was a teammate of Davin Pierre, who's the head coach at Grambling.
Covered him.
Now. And so it just shows you how small the world can get. I picked up one guy who found out he asked me my name. I told him, he said, I went to all your camps when I was a kid,
That's hilarious.
Uber driving's been fun. And it's a great way to get out. I can't golf with my bag, and fishing was never like, didn't catch a whole lot of fish. I do like to fish. I like to get the line wet, but Uber driving gives me an opportunity to go out and, I could sit on the couch or I can sit in the driver's seat, and they pay me to sit in the driver's seat.
And so he leaves, and I get the house to myself.
Yes, so and it's perfect for both of us.
And I'm very grateful to the people who said, yeah, she's retired now. Let's put her to work. Go Preps, and the people at the Natchitoches Parish Journal and the Shreveport Bossier Journal, who said, hey, come write for us. And the Baton Rouge Rougarou baseball team.
Thank you, Ronnie Rance.
Thanks, Ronnie Rance, for letting me still do what I can do, and for double checking me for typos this year, because I did everything with one eye. And they I think I did some pretty good work this year, and it was fun doing it. And even though waiting for coaches to call me back is not fun,
we both have to admit this is our first semester away from the school.
Yep.
Away from Riverside.
Yes.
And we miss our babies.
I do.
We miss our babies. We miss those kids. All this sounds great, but you do miss them, and we get to see them a little bit.
Yeah.
But if we get out of the house more, we can see them a lot more. But the spring's coming, and we're going to be out and about, and we'll get a chance to see them and the people that care about us and love us and worry about us. So once again, this is our last show of the season. Hopefully there'll be a spring season, but if there's not, we'll still love you.
And we'll still love each other. Have a very Merry Christmas and a happy 2025.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. He remembered. I don't let him forget this. Ladies, if you want him to remember your anniversary and your birthday, just tell him.
It's easier.
Get a calendar. I have one. I have one lots. Okay. All right, that's it. All right, we love you. We love each other, and this is it. Hope you miss us. Bye. Ready? Hey, Marty.
This is our last joke of the season.
My last joke.
Yes, Lori.
How does Santa Claus keep track of all the chimneys he's visited?
No idea.
He keeps a log.
Ooh. Ooh.
Merry Christmas.
There's two kinds of logs.
Bye. No. Bye. Bye.
Ho, 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 ho!